Hi guys, this is Pete again. This is just a quickie video I'm making for my friends at Schneider who want to explore TICDAT and some of the example repositories. So it's a quick, rough follow-up video in case you guys get stuck on any of the kind of blocking and tackling. Uh, so here we have the three repositories you'll need. Um, uh, TICDAT, the example diet, and the example NetFlow. For now, all of these are you're going to have to clone all of these or download all of these and use PTH files to orient your Python system to recognize them. So this is a pretty straightforward task, but I've seen people get hung up on it, so I just wanted to put together a quick video to make sure you guys don't have any troubles. So if you don't have any sort of Git client, so there is a really nice Git client, GitHub desktop client you can use. And I've used this to do downloads. There's also a way to interact with Git through the command line, so which is I like to use that too. So I've got that one installed. But the easiest way, I think, is to just do the downloads from the web page. So if you just hit clone or download, this will give you a zip file. Then you can unpack the zip file. Bear in mind, if you do that, you'll end up with you typically end up with the branch name sort of post-pended onto the path, and that shouldn't. I would be surprised if that trips you up. So just I didn't do it that way, so I have sort of simpler path names, but it's whatever. It's easy enough to rename the folder once you get it all downloaded and unpacked, or use a different name in the PTH files. That should all be pretty apparent. So again, okay, suppose you've got the files downloaded, put them all in some central place. So for example, here I've got right off my root directory, I've got a Python directory, and these are subdirectories that match up with the repositories, right? So I've matched it up exactly where this repository is called example-netflow, and so I've got my folder name example.netflow. Similarly for TICDAT, similarly for example diet. And just to show you what's inside one of them, the license file, the README file, Explorer, and then the NetFlow directory itself that implements the repository, and that matches up just as you see here, right? It's not showing the gitignore file, but you understand that. Okay, so so now I'm going to try to do some work. So I've got this Scratch directory. I always like to do my work in a Scratch directory and not my code directories. You can do it however you like, but under the rubric of only the paranoid survive, I like to do it that way. So if you look at this Scratch directory, I've got a simple diet data.xls file. So I'm not going to open that up here, but you'll have faith. I'm sending this XLS file to you if you want to do this exact same thing that I'm doing. So now I always like to play from within IPython. You should have IPython installed as part of Anaconda. So I go inside Anaconda. So I have the simple diet is my data, so I'm going to need to import my diet model. Tab completion didn't work. That's a bad sign. I try to type in import diet. No module named diet. Okay, suppose I tried to import TICDAT. No module named TICDAT. So what's happening here is that it can't find the directories in order to locate the packages, right? It can't. So I need to slightly customize my Anaconda installation so as to recognize the directories, so as to recognize the packages that are in the repositories in my Python directory that I showed you at the very first thing. So this might sound scary. It's not scary. This is sort of basic Python stuff that you might not be aware of, and I want to make sure you don't get hung up on it. So this is nothing to be afraid of. So the first thing to ask for is where do I put my PTH files? PTH files are files that help orient the Python environment to different other directories it should look into for packages. So I can import the site. You should have no problem importing site. And then I say site, get site packages. And there's two lists, and you want this one. You want the one that ends in site packages. So I'm going to copy that path. I'm going to quit out of here. I'm going to cd to that path. Okay, I'm going to do a little magic. No, this isn't magic. This is just basic file manipulation, just to see if there are PTH files in here. And there are some. So some of the ones that come automatically. This is another PTH file that I'm using. This is my normal PTH file that I normally use. I'm not going to show you that one. I'll just make a special PTH file for you guys here. So this looks like a good place to have PTH files. So I'm going to create a PTH file. So this is just a simple way to create an empty file. Touch eats stuff. And I'm going to open it in just some simple text editor. Okay. And now I'm going to put exactly, let me go back out of here to get the exact file paths. This is just me being anal with file paths, right? So let me go into one of those repositories. Get the what's the path name I'm in. So this is the directory of the repository, not the package of the repository. So the directory of, I'm going to put in, they're all pretty similar, NetFlow, and then the directory of the TICDAT package, which was apolytics-TICDAT. Save that. Looks correct. So again, these are the repository directories. The package directory, so the directory that's just TICDAT or the directory that's just NetFlow, is the next directory down. This is the parent directory to the directory of the package that you want to import. All right, so I'm going to close that window. Now I'm going to go back to my Scratch directory and try what I was doing before again. All right, let's try to import diet again. And it worked, right? And I can import TICDAT. Tab completion worked right there. Importing TICDAT worked. So that's all you need. You download the files, put it all in, and download the repositories, put them all in a common directory. Find out where your PTH files are using get site packages, and edit your make yourself a PTH file that lists the directories of all the repositories you want to use, and then after that, Python will recognize them automatically. So very quickly, I think let me just show off a little bit more before I end this meeting. So how can I read in some data? I can say diet equals diet dot data factory. So that's the input data factory XLS. Because I want to read an XLS file, create TICDAT, and IPython helps me complete the file name. So that I've read in some data. I can look at that data. So these are all the rows. This is how they look in TICDAT format, where it's a dictionary of dictionaries. If I want to look at them as pandas, that's easy enough to do. I can make a pandat object. Now I've got a data object that has everything in pandas format. And here's that same set of data as a pandas data frame, where again, it's nicely organized for you in terms of the multi-index matches up with the primary key. Okay, now what if I want to solve it? Again, I can make a solution, say the solution equals diet.solve. So I solve the data object into the solution. Looks good. And solution.consume nutrition. So this is the amount of nutrition I consumed, expressed as dict of dix. Here is the what is this? Foods. Get what the table name is off the top of my head, so I can use Dura to find it. There we go. Solution dot by food. There's the foods I purchased. And if I want to dump this solution into a new Excel file that just has the solution, that's easy to do again. I can say diet dot solution factory dot xls dot write file. I'm going to write the solution to a file called simple solution dot xls. And if I quit out of here, I'm back in my Scratch directory, and sure enough, there's a new thing, simple solution.xls. And the Gurobi log file was created, who cares? Okay, guys, hopefully that helps you. Absolutely send me an email if you get stuck at all. Good luck.